This program contains material that may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. A gator wrangler takes the ultimate dare and loses. Then, a crazed kangaroo is on the loose. Now, no one is safe.
When he hit Mrs. Fawcett, it sounded like somebody in a boxing ring really slamming her.
And a mare's frantic fight to save her unborn colt, dying under the ice.
She knew that she had to save another life.
Wild, uncensored, raw. Heart-stopping animal encounters caught on tape by everyday people from all over the world. Groundbreaking computer graphics will show you exactly what happened. And meet the survivors.
My pinky and my ring finger on my right hand, they were both hanging off, and there was a big hole in my hand.
All on Untamed and Uncut.
And the jaws are open! And the head is in!
Trapped in the jaws of a killing machine. A gator's got a death grip on this man's head, and the 350-pound beast will not let go.
I was thinking that the alligator was gonna roll and tear his head off.
Kenny Cypress, a father of 3, has been wrestling alligators for almost a decade. Every time, he puts his life on the line, knowing these large carnivores can rip off an entire limb with one vicious snap. Kenny's never been seriously hurt, but that is about to change. Kenny is performing near Miami, Florida, in front of a packed house, including his best friend, Richard Kaiser.
We grew up together. Kenny and I used to go gigging, hunting.
Today, Kenny's opponent is a 10-foot-long American alligator.
Total of 80 feet.
He didn't seem scared or nothing like that to me. He wrestles around with him a little bit. Everything's going normal.
It's time for the grand finale, a death-defying act.
He was doing the one trick where he opens up the mouth and he sticks his head in there.
Suddenly, the gator clamps down, ripping flesh, plunging his razor-sharp teeth into Kenny's skull.
Get the wood!
It all happened so quick, and it was like a blur.
Audience members scream in terror, but the only screams Richard hears are coming from Kenny.
He was hollering in pain.
The show announcer immediately jumps on the animal's back, desperately trying to prevent the gator from doing a maneuver that could kill Kenny immediately. It's called a death roll. In the wild, these ravenous carnivores will attack any large prey, including other alligators. Once an alligator has a hold of its victim, it will literally roll sideways, over and over again, until it's torn off a bite-sized chunk of its prey. If the gator rolls now, Kenny could easily be decapitated. A second man now jumps in to help. He shoves a stick in the gator's mouth and tries to pry it open. It's no use.
It wasn't budging.
By now, Richard cannot take it anymore.
I felt like I had to do something.
He risks his own life and jumps into the pit to help save Kenny.
And I lifted up with my hands on the top jaw. The only thing I knew to do was to pry the alligator's mouth open, and I wasn't succeeding. I felt real helpless.
It's been almost 2 minutes. Kenny's losing blood and hope.
It's a very dangerous situation. He probably experienced about 700 pounds of bite force.
Dr. Gregory Erickson, who studies crocodiles and alligators at Florida State University, also says this is not just one bite. Kenny is actually experiencing a series of bites.
Any movement that is sensed by the alligator will elicit further bites. And one can imagine that Kenny was feeling multiple hits of 600-700 pounds as he struggled to get away. It's a one-way street with these animals. Once you're seized by them, you're pretty much at the mercy of the alligator.
And this alligator is not about to let go. He's capable of maintaining his tremendous bite force for half an hour. 3 grown men, easily weighing 200 pounds apiece, cannot pry open the gator's mouth. It's only when a fourth man steps in that the gator decides he doesn't like the odds and finally releases Kenny's head from his powerful jaws. The gator attack cracked Kenny's skull, broke his jaw, and punctured his head 42 times. But he survives.
I think I was pretty close to dying. I was just waiting for my head to get crushed. I just had a funny feeling something wasn't gonna go right that day, and sure enough, it didn't go right.
So, what was it that went so wrong? An alligator's mouth is extremely sensitive to touch. Any sensation will trigger them to automatically clamp down.
It may well have been a bead of sweat, hit the tongue, maybe hit the teeth. These animals have a remarkable tactile sense in their mouths, and I think that's probably what happened.
Looking at the home video again, you can see Kenny wipe the sweat off his forehead just moments before the grand finale. But he doesn't get it all. Just one drop of sweat was all it took to trigger the gator's bite reflex and put his life in extreme danger.
I was pulling on his jaws as hard as I could to try to get him open, but that kind of might have slowed him down from crushing my head.
Kenny is lucky to be alive. Not too many people can get bit in the head and come out of it.
He escaped unharmed or just with minor injuries, very fortunate in that sense.
Today, Kenny is fully recovered and a lot more careful at the request of one of his little boys, Junior.
My son asked me not to stick my head in the alligator's mouth anymore. I still wrestle alligators, but basically don't do that trick anymore. I always think back to that day and how I could have died. I feel pretty lucky. I still got 8 lives.
TV reporter Thiago Zogby is about to find out why getting too close to a story can be a deadly mistake.
It's tragic to be run over. It's just tragic.
The terrifying drama takes place during the 20th annual Running of the Mules in Brazil's Vale do Paraíba. It's in between Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo. Excitement is everywhere as hundreds gather to see the mightiest mules Brazil has to offer.
The good mule that's developed properly with the proper training is just an amazing, amazing versatile equine.
Roger Downey has been breeding mules since 1990. He understands why Brazilians think so highly of the offspring between a male donkey and a female horse.
I respect their intelligence, their self-preservation, their personality, find them to be more interesting than horses.
These hardy hybrids get their speed from the horse and their brains from the donkey. In fact, they can run almost as fast as quarter horses, but it's their iron will that can make them unreliable on the track. But that doesn't stop today's races. Despite the festive atmosphere, there's a sense of danger in the air. Spectator Alexander da Silva is worried people are standing too close to where the mules will come flying by. And no one is standing closer to the action than Thiago. He's reporting just inches away from the track. It turns out to be the mistake of his life. He's Thiago Zogby, and today he's reporting from the annual mule races in his native southern Brazil. U.S. mule breeder Roger Downey says this was a tragedy in the making.
There's no rails and you know, no racing gear.
Mule races in the U.S. have much more stringent rules, like at this event in Bishop, California.
The animal has to be qualified, the jockey has to be qualified, there's got to be specifications on the tack.
But at the 20th running of the mules in Brazil, the only safety measure is that they race just 2 mules at one time on the narrow track. Event organizer Antonio G. Piva is excited that Thiago is here.
Foi a primeira vez, inclusive foi o primeiro repórter que nos deu essa oportunidade de mostrar nosso centro aqui.
Thiago decides to stand right next to the track, so he's close to the action. Big mistake. Tiago has his back to the action. He never sees it coming when he's hit hard and thrown head first to the ground.
Achei no início que o rapaz tinha morrido, né?
Spectator Alexander da Silva is certain Tiago is dead.
Horrível. A impressão que a gente teve é que o repórter tinha morrido.
Antonio's wife Vilma rushes to help, but she's also convinced it's too late. This view shows when the mule veers just inches off course. He headbutts Tiago, then its leg snaps the camera tripod in two. The rider, the cameraman, and the mule all escape unharmed. But Tiago is not moving. All are convinced his neck is broken, and at the very least, he's paralyzed for life.
It all is so instantaneous. It all happens as we know with tragedy. Things happen in a second or less.
Then, after 32 heart-stopping seconds, the young reporter opens his eyes.
Daí eu não consegui respirar. Eu lembro que eu falei, caramba, o que me atingiu? Não tinha a mínima noção.
Tiago says it was the scariest day of his life.
Acho que eu tava morto.
Roger Downey is convinced that if Tiago was hit by a horse, this would have a far different ending.
What I saw was the mule using its head, which is the strongest part of its body, to butt that individual versus trampling over him as a horse would do.
He also thinks it's clear what went wrong.
The reporter was in a spot that he should not have been in.
Tiago has severe back pain and is sidelined for several weeks, but he fully recovers. In fact, he returns the next year to not only cover the mule races, but to ride in them as well. Playtime turns to terror for an elephant at the Toronto Zoo. Tequila, a 9,000-pound African elephant, is trapped. Her back foot is caught in a toy, a tire of all things, and she can't get it out.
This elephant is in distress and really trying to struggle to get this tire off its foot.
What happens next is a spectacular display of nature, something rarely seen on tape.
My goodness, here he comes.
Paul and Jeannie Schaap are at the zoo with their 3 young children, Paul's parents, and their video camera to document the day.
Great big elephants. Wow, and look at this big guy.
Inside the elephant enclosure, more than half a dozen of the largest land animals alive today.
Pretty huge, eh?
Tequila, a 28-year-old female, is by herself. The Schaap's camera is rolling as she kicks a rubber tire hanging from a chain.
Look at him playing with his foot.
In zoos and in captive situations, it's very common to have some sorts of, quote, toys, something around for the animals to play with or to busy themselves with.
She put her foot in the tire, and we were all watching for her to pull it out again.
Then, the unexpected.
And all of a sudden, it appeared to be stuck.
Oh, he's got it stuck now. Is he stuck, Hillary? Uh-oh.
She was trying everything. She was pulling so hard.
An elephant can easily knock over a tree, but Tequila's in an awkward position and can't rely on her sheer strength to set her free.
I thought it would be over in a couple of minutes, just in and out, but it went on and on and on.
Krista and her family could only watch as Tequila struggles.
It was unbelievable to just watch this huge animal be in such a bind.
She was even up on her 2 front feet, trying to use her other back foot to pull off the tire.
Nothing is working, and Tequila is beyond human help. It's a potentially deadly decision to send in a zookeeper to aid the stressed-out 4-ton pachyderm. One swipe of her trunk can kill.
We were just concerned that she would become exhausted and just collapse.
Tequila's in danger of falling. With her massive weight, she could easily break a leg or dislocate a hip. It's now been almost 20 minutes.
There was no sound at all. There was no sound of distress from the elephant that was stuck.
Make a noise, elephant! Make a noise! Make a noise!
What the girls don't realize is Tequila has been making a noise. They just can't hear it with human ears.
You see her flapping her ears. She may be using infrasonic communication at this point.
Peter Regg is the director of the Elephant Listening Project at Cornell University, which studies elephant communications.
Elephants use sounds in frequency ranges all the way from very low frequencies to those that are typical of human speech. But their probably most important sounds are the low frequency ones.
Although the Shaps were not able to hear Tequila communicating, Dr. Regg is able to detect her rumbles using high-tech software.
This software is showing us a picture of what that sound looks like.
Elephants produce vocalizations the same way we do. Sounds are a vibration of the vocal cords in the larynx, but elephants' vocal cords are almost 3 times bigger than ours, making them capable of producing those low-frequency calls.
Most of our talking, you can see here, is from 100 hertz up to 1,000, 2,000 hertz. But the interesting stuff about elephants occurs all down in the infrasound at the lowest levels. What's most interesting are these little ripples along here. These are harmonics from an infrasonic rumble.
In her distress, Tequila has called the cavalry, and they've arrived.
All of a sudden, all the elephants were coming in.
My goodness. Wow.
And they started trumpeting with this very loud noise and just a flurry of activity.
That is amazing. Look at the other elephants trying to help Colin.
The animals were totally agitated. There was dust flying, there was trumpeting, a situation we'd never experienced before.
What you are hearing isn't actually trumpeting. They're elephant roars, and roars indicate elephants are upset, stressed, or frightened.
It seemed like they were all trying to support her and show her they were there and to figure out how they could get it off as a unit.
This looks somewhat aggressive, but in fact, it's probably just very heightened excitement, but it seems to have done the trick.
With the encouragement of the herd, Tequila manages to finally break free.
She's out. She's out.
So how did she do it? Right here, you can see Tequila has the chain wrapped around the pole and pulls down hard, elongating the tire. That gives her just enough room to slip her foot out.
She's out.
We were all so excited and happy. Everybody was cheering.
The Shaps and everyone else at the elephant enclosure that afternoon saw something seldom seen in captivity.
This footage is unique in that it shows a whole unfolding of an interaction of an elephant getting in trouble and the response of its mates.
It was quite incredible what we witnessed.
A sneak attack takes down a surfer. And it's not one, but 2 great white sharks.
I immediately thought to myself, oh gosh, no, this can't be happening to my brother.
Brothers Shannon and Brandon Ainsley grew up off the coast of South Africa, thrill riding the gorgeous rolling waves of Nahoon Reef.
We heard of guys surfing Nahoon Reef and how amazing it was.
Hungry sharks also stalk this famous surf break to snack on sardines and seals. And on occasion, surfers. But that didn't stop Brandon and Shannon.
My friends and Shannon and myself had no reason to believe that anything would go wrong that day.
But things are about to go very wrong. As Shannon carves into the crest of a wave, the dorsal fin of a great white surfaces. And then, the horrifying reality. A second fin. The sharks collide. Shannon flips in the air and disappears beneath the surface. Shannon is trapped between two great whites.
I thought to myself, oh no, and I automatically thought of the worst.
Here is what it looks like underwater. The first great white moves in from the left and knocks Shannon off his board and into the air. When he lands, that shark dives down with Shannon's hand in his mouth. Within seconds, the second great white moves in and goes for Shannon's head and shoulders.
Sharks don't work together in packs or schools. They're not like wolves working in coordination.
George Burgess, a shark expert and surfer, says it was just a coincidence and that both sharks were probably just attracted to the sound of surfers splashing.
Sharks have layer upon layer upon layer of senses. They're so attuned. They've had 400 million years to get to be an effective predator.
Sharks key into the sound surfers make through vibrations along their lateral line, a sensory system that runs along each side of their body. Inside that lateral line are canals filled with fluid. Sound makes the fluid vibrate. That then alerts the shark to the presence of prey.
As I noticed that Shannon was being attacked, I immediately thought that Shannon might die.
But as the wave breaks, a sight that shocks everyone.
And he was really struggling. You can see then in the way his buoyancy and his balance, he was really shocked.
Shannon is alive, but bleeding badly.
Shannon, during the drive to the hospital, he did not say much, but he was in agony, shouting, please, please help me.
It takes 30 stitches to stop the bleeding and put Shannon's finger back on his hand, but he survives.
I was really scared. I seriously thought I was gonna die that day. 2 fingers were hanging off, my pinky and my ring finger on my right hand. They were both hanging off, and there was a big hole in my hand. The shark had also bitten right through my wrist bone and had broken that.
Shannon's story of survival is one for the record books. The first time 2 great whites on the prowl at the same time are caught on tape.
This minute I find myself underneath the water, face to face with the shark, looking straight into its eye, and its mouth is wide open. I could see the top row and the bottom row of its teeth, and it just like stopped in front of me for a few seconds and just stared at me for no reason. And I also just stared back at it because there was no ways I was going to fight 2 sharks and escape from them. The only way was a miracle.
That miracle Shannon desperately needs comes moments after the first shark moves in for the kill. The second shark slams him from the opposite side. That hit incredibly shoves Shannon out of harm's way.
Kind of missed me because the shark on the left bumped me off course.
Just how lucky is Shannon? There are about 65 great white attacks a year worldwide, and about 4 are fatal.
Some guys die from 1 shark attacking them. Sometimes they lose a leg or an arm, and I had 2 sharks after me, and here I am sitting here talking to you guys, and I'm alive.
Shannon still has scars. He still surfs. And no, he is not afraid of sharks.
I love sharks, I respect sharks. The ocean was created for them. I don't have anything against sharks, I absolutely love them. I'm not afraid of sharks, so if they come near me, they better stay away because I'm gonna take them down.
Who is he manhandling over there?
It's shocking live television.
This is what? This is Killer Willet. I guess I can assume the boxing kangaroo.
Yeah.
Was what?
An out-of-control kangaroo turns on both of his handlers. It's an all-out attack from a powerful animal that can kill with 1 kick.
I thought those people were in danger.
Killer Willard, the boxing kangaroo, was the star of a traveling comedy show. Weighing close to 150 pounds, the male red kangaroo was an impressive 6 feet tall when standing fully erect. It may have been meant for laughs, but this kangaroo was actually a formidable opponent in the ring. Irene and Tony Fawcett adopted Willard when he was just 3, rescuing him from a zoo. They put boxing gloves on him so he wouldn't hurt them and they wouldn't hurt him when they played together. Willard loved it so much it turned into a comedy routine. Some say the training of wild animals is wrong, but what looks like boxing actually comes naturally to kangaroos. They punch when they're playing, when they're trying to dominate, and when males are competing for females. It's when a kangaroo decides to kick that the fighting can turn deadly. Each back leg packs the same punch as a heavyweight boxer, and a slash by one of their dagger-like toenails can easily tear open the abdomen of an opponent.
And carrots, he has a very large diet.
Willard had been with the Fawcett's for more than 2 years.
He's so mean.
When the Boxing Kangaroo Act found itself in Cleveland, Ohio.
This is Killer Willard, and this is my husband. It's a good thing I'm not fragile.
When he hit Mrs. Fawcett with those boxing gloves, it sounded like somebody in a boxing ring really slamming somebody.
As the host of the Morning Exchange, Fred Griffith was used to having animals on his show. But from the start, Willard's appearance took a frightening tone.
He hit her with both fists, there's no question about it.
Who fights him?
Well, this is
just crazy people, or what?
No, this is an act. It's a comedy act.
Oh, you don't actually let people
No, we do not, no.
They were losing control of the animal, and I think the kangaroo got frightened by the lights, by the noise, and by the unfamiliar surroundings.
Terry Moyer, an associate producer at the time, was standing just off camera, watching in shock as the Fawcett's took a pounding.
The question is, do you kill the segment? Do you let the segment go? You know, are they really in control? Is this part of the act?
Before producers have time to pull the plug, Willard goes berserk. Tony and Irene Fawcett go down hard. Tony's taken the brunt of the kangaroo's kick.
He leaned back on his tail and took those two great rear legs and slammed it into the midsection of the guy who had brought him there. I thought, I couldn't believe it.
When Mr. Fawcett went down, there was a horrified shock because you didn't know what happened.
Kangaroos are able to kick with great force because of their thick tails. The tail is made up of bones called chevrons, surrounded by long muscles strong enough to hold its entire body weight. A kangaroo will actually use it as a tripod when delivering devastating blows with its clawed hind feet. Kangaroos can jump an astonishing 10 feet high. And now, all that power in those legs is being unleashed as Willard slams his hind legs into Tony's lower body. Amazingly, Tony isn't seriously hurt. He grabs Willard's mouth to prevent the kangaroo from biting him, while Irene pulls Willard off her husband.
Wait a minute,
Willard, behave yourself.
Let's try again. Can you take
The Fawcetts recover quickly, but will remember the attack forever.
He gave me a couple of good below-the-belt shots with his feet. I went a little funny in the stomach, but after a time it went away, the pain. Right away, he started kicking and boxing Irene. She got some pretty good clumps that day, I tell you.
With an animal, you never know what they're gonna do. They can actually rip you open because they're very powerful.
The Fawcetts know Willard was just acting instinctively. And they say it was just luck Willard didn't dig his nails into Tony.
He was really frisky, and he really let everybody have it that morning. It was just another great show for me.
And Fred Griffith remembers Killer Willard's appearance as great TV.
Who could have scripted it? It just came off wonderfully. It was terrifically entertaining, and I thought we were lucky to have had them on.
Terror on the ice. A panicked 5-year-old mare trapped in a frozen pond with no way out. What makes this desperate scene even more dire? The horse is pregnant. There are 2 lives dangling in the balance here.
That's enough to rip one's heart out. There's 2 lives there that you're aching to get out of the situation that they're in.
The horse named Inmoon wandered away from her barn mates, and before she could be stopped, she took the icy plunge. All 1,200 pounds of mother and unborn foal.
Dad was trying to catch her and something spooked her, and she went heck bent for leather right on the ice.
Her owner, Ricky's dad, Rowan Kammer, frantically calls the fire department in his nail-biting bid to save his prized horse. Inmoon is already in grave danger when fireman Gail Skellinger arrives.
Time was becoming a big concern for us. It had been trying on its own. It had created a large hole in itself trying to get out.
Inmoon's thrashing around creates a small opening in the thick ice. But the pond is 15 feet deep, and she must keep treading water, or she will drown. At 9 months pregnant, Inmoon's unborn foal adds an additional 180 pounds of weight to her struggle. Her body temperature is already far below the normal 100 degrees. Her organs are beginning to slow down. If they don't get Inmoon out soon, her fetus will lose vital oxygen and die.
You just can't let them give up. We cannot let her go down in the pond. We got to do something.
Neighbor Gordy Lang is driving past Inmoon's home, a quarter-horse farm in Davison, Michigan, when all hell breaks loose.
Her eyes rolling back in her head, nostrils going, you know, and she's freaking.
Michigan equine veterinarian Dr. Larry Borg of the State Road Veterinarian Clinic gets the emergency call for help.
They basically told the owners, we probably have a 50-50 chance.
The rescuers with a rope tied to a tractor repeatedly try to lasso the horse up, but they have to be careful. The jagged ice could cut her wide open.
Could feasibly cut a leg right off.
She almost makes it out. But one heartbreaking tug after another fails. It's going to take something extreme to get her out.
I'm yelling out there, you know, bop her in the nose, you know, we got to get her attention. Got to get her attention because she was ready to, you know, give up.
The desperate move makes her angry, but the adrenaline gives her the added strength she needs to fight for her life.
She didn't have much time. If she would have made it another 10 minutes, I'd have been totally amazed.
And it works. Inmoon's animal instincts kick in. She may be stunned and exhausted, but her body is out.
Got her up on top of the ice. That was just an absolutely fantastic feeling, and we feel we've got it made now. The firemen on the shore are pulling her in.
Suddenly, their happiness turns to horror.
When she went into the ice the second time, it was, I can't believe this is happening.
The biggest concern? Hypothermia. The horse has been in the unforgiving ice for more than 40 minutes. Veterinarian Larry Borg says her normal body temperature of 100 degrees is dropping fast.
They have to maintain that for the function of the brain. When it's reduced and dropped too far, then the brain stops. Subsequently, then the heart, everything else is going to stop.
Incredibly, this brave horse is not giving up, and neither are her rescuers.
She had an extra drive that I've never seen in a lot of horses. She wanted to live.
And that's when I went out and I cut the ice with the axe.
Fireman Gail Skellinger tries desperately to break the rock-solid ice with nothing more than an axe and his bare hands.
Once I had the ice cut, just give her another little tug on that rope, and she reared up, broke the little bit of ice that was left, and out she came.
Harnessing her last amount of true grit, In-Moon finally busts out to freedom after staring death in the face. Despite the near-death panic on the pond, you haven't seen it all yet.
He's just a gentle old soul right now.
Remember In-Moon's unborn baby? Here he is, Copycat. In-Moon's owner's son, Ricky Kammer, now runs the family farm. And Copycat is now a retired champion show horse.
On occasion, I remind him of the pond incident.
His mom has since passed, but she will never be forgotten.
I think he has an idea that maybe he got out of a situation that, you know, was beyond his control, but to, you know, ride with Mama.
It's a head-butting brawl, but the bucks get stuck. And they must untangle their antlers or lose their lives.
But I got them when they had locked their antlers, and I'm thinking, oh, this is unbelievable.
Alan Warren videotaped white-tailed deer for years. His patience pays off one cold December morning in the woods near San Antonio, Texas.
It was the best deer fight that I ever captured on video. You know, it only took me 25 years to capture that one. I don't know if I'll live long enough to get another one.
Warren is an experienced sportsman with a dream job. He makes TV shows about the great outdoors.
Out of his mouth. Look at the teeth, though. Look at that. Just rows and rows of them.
Warren came upon the buck's bout by following the scrape line. That's the trail of scents a doe makes and the buck follows during breeding season. It's part mating dance, part scavenger hunt.
They come up and with their antlers, they get underneath the branch and they rip the branch to shreds. They'll lick it, put their scent all over it, they'll scratch, and then they'll urinate on their back hocks. And as the buck comes back through, he's smelling that urine, which contains pheromones, and that tells him that she's ready to be bred, and then the chase is on.
The chase takes a surprising turn when these two bucks try to charm the same doe. Fighting for dominance, they push, shove, and twist their antlers into each other. Because the tines are tiered and curved, the clash locks them together.
It's about 28 degrees when this fight's going on, so you can see the steam coming out of the deer's nostrils. I mean, they're 80 yards away, but I swear, I thought I could hear them. It was like...
As the tough guys duke it out, a third deer sees his chance to butt in.
A lot of people call that taking a cheap shot.
Pumped up on testosterone, the bucks don't stop there. They continue to grapple like wrestlers. Deer expert Mickey Hellickson knows how dire the deer's situation is. He's found skulls of bucks who fought and died locked together.
Most definitely it was a fight for their lives. It's not that uncommon for two bucks to lock their antlers and be unable to separate their antlers, and eventually they'll both die.
Bucks grow new antlers every year. They start out covered in a soft protective layer called velvet. Fueled by blood vessels running through the bone, their rack can grow up to ½ an inch a day and as wide as 3 feet. During mating season, known as the rut, antlers harden and the velvet withers. When a buck rubs off the remains of the velvet, he's sharpening his rack for battle.
I'd want a fence in between me and that buck because they can be so aggressive during the rut that they're dangerous. People have been killed by bucks during the rut.
I mean, they're not just fighting, they're locked together. They can't get loose. And the fight goes and goes and goes.
Finally, they pull apart. The loser takes off.
And then the really cool thing happened, cool to capture on video. The one buck had his right front leg completely, I guess, pulled out of the socket, and it was caught up behind his antler. I have never seen something like that. I mean, ever seen anything like that.
The frantic buck spins in circles, desperate to free his tangled hoof. Alan Warren stays out of danger in an elevated blind, where he watches this lucky buck finally free his hoof and limp off into the forest.
To me, it was a trophy experience, and that's what the whole nature thing is about being outdoors, is the experience of you never know what you're going to see.